Hi, my name is Margaret Essig. I go by Maggie. I have been teaching first grade for the last 3 years. Next year will be my 4th year. I got hired at my school before I even graduated from college, so I've been at that same school my whole teaching career so far. And I really hope to stay at that school. I love that school. And I also love first grade, and I'd like to stay in the primary grades or first grade for as long as I can. Since I'm teaching in primary, literacy is such a big part of that. First grade, I feel like, is really where they learn to actually read books. And that's my favorite part about teaching first grade, is getting to take their basic letter and word knowledge and being able to read a couple sentences from kindergarten, and then really having some kids at the end of first grade reading chapter books, which is really cool and exciting for me. So literacy is definitely a big part of first grade, and making sure you meet every kid's needs in their own way is very important. Because really, if they miss that literacy growth in the primary grades, it's so much harder for them to get that later on. So I take that role that I have in that very seriously. And so I think for my project, what I really wanted to focus on is differentiation in literacy. That's something my school has focused on a lot this past year. And some of the things that came up in those differentiation discussions last year as a school was stations. And this was in regards to both literacy and math, and how can we do stations or centers more throughout the day. Is that the best option? When is it the best option? When maybe is whole group better, or things like that. And there were lots of different viewpoints from lots of different teachers and administration, and lots of different views in my school about what types of stations or centers should be done, when should they be done, and how to do them. Everyone agreed on the fact that we need to be differentiating for our students, but in terms of how to necessarily do that, while working in small groups, was kind of a difficult way for everyone to agree on. Everyone at my school does guided reading, which I love. And so I think guided reading is super important, especially in primary grades, for building that literacy. So I wanted to focus on how to make the most of guided reading time, that small group guided reading time, but then also what are the pros and cons of doing small group for your actual content literacy. Currently at my school, we do, at least in first grade, we have a guided reading time that we do small groups, differentiated instruction by levels. But then we also have another content literacy time where we teach our Engage New York reading curriculum. And so there was discussion on, should both of those times be stations? Can we combine those 2 times and have guided reading and content literacy as one time? And so there never really was a solution made by the end of this last year. And so that's kind of why I decided I wanted to spend these next 8 weeks looking deeper into stations and small groups and how the best way to do that. And I'd really like to make a PD session and resource for my school. I'm on the leadership team at my school. And so part of that role that I have is bringing professional development to my school based on what I learned in these grad school classes. So I thought I could spend the next few weeks really focusing on something my school has been kind of toying with and not necessarily knowing the best way to go about it. And so I really want to look into how I can make how teachers can use small groups to better the literacy instruction. What's the best ways to do that? What are some of the ways maybe we shouldn't be doing that? And so I'd like to turn that into a PowerPoint presentation for the teachers at my school, and also maybe plan a whole professional development day or time with resources for them to use and go off of based on research, and not just opinions, but based on research, and also giving different viewpoints, so that teachers can say, oh, well, this really works for me, and maybe this would work for a different teacher, but no matter what, we're still differentiating and still working in small groups with our students for literacy. So I really want to show best practices for teaching in small group for literacy and the best ways that research has found to do that. So that's my project proposal, and I'm excited to dig a little more into small group learning in these next few weeks and learn from all of you guys and what you're learning about. Thank you.